A powerful wave of explosions reportedly shook the heart of Tehran after Israeli forces launched a strike targeting one of the most sensitive military locations inside Iran, the headquarters of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Air Force. According to statements released by the Israeli military, the operation was aimed at the IRGC's Central Air Defense Command Center, a key hub responsible for coordinating Iran's aerial defense systems and protecting critical infrastructure across the country. The attack, described as a precise military strike, reportedly hit several installations surrounding the command facility, including air defense systems, operational headquarters, warehouses, and other strategic structures near the site. For Iran, the IRGC Air Force command structure represents one of the most important pillars of its national defense network. The units operating from these command centers oversee missile operations, air defense coordination, and strategic responses to aerial threats. A strike targeting such a location immediately raises the stakes of the conflict and sends a powerful signal about how far the confrontation between Israel and Iran has escalated. Before we break down how this strike reportedly unfolded, what the IRGC Air Force headquarters represents within Iran's military structure, and why the location was such a critical target, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the latest dramatic geopolitical developments shaping the world. According to the Israeli military, the strike focused specifically on the IRGC's Central Air Defense Command Center located deep inside Tehran. This command hub is believed to play a crucial role in monitoring Iranian airspace and directing air defense systems designed to detect and intercept incoming threats. In modern warfare, such facilities are essential because they allow military commanders to track aircraft, missiles, and drones moving through national airspace in real time. By targeting the command center, Israeli planners appear to have aimed at disrupting the coordination of Iran's air defense network. Military analysts note that command centers act as the nerve system of defensive operations. Radar stations detect incoming objects, communication systems transmit the data, and command centers process that information to coordinate defensive responses. If such a command hub is damaged or temporarily disabled, it can create confusion within the defense network, slowing response times and limiting coordination between different defensive units. Reports surrounding the strike suggest that multiple types of structures were targeted near the facility. According to Israeli statements, air defense systems in the area were among the installations hit during the operation. These systems are responsible for tracking aerial threats and launching interceptor missiles when necessary. In addition to those defensive systems, headquarters, buildings, and operational structures connected to the IRGC Air Force were also reportedly struck. Such facilities often house command staff, operational planning rooms, and communications infrastructure used to coordinate military activities. Warehouses near the command center were also listed among the targets. Military warehouses typically store equipment, spare parts, and logistical supplies needed to sustain operations. In the case of an air defense command network, warehouses can contain radar components, communication hardware, missile system parts, or other critical equipment required to keep the network functioning. Striking these facilities can disrupt logistical support for defensive operations, making it harder to repair or replace damaged systems. The Israeli military also reported that another target linked to the strike was a site associated with the production and launch of ballistic missiles. Ballistic missile facilities are among the most sensitive installations in any military structure. They involve complex infrastructure for missile assembly, storage, and launch operations. According to the Israeli statement, this particular site included warehouses connected to equipment used by the Quds Force, an elite branch of the IRGC responsible for operations beyond Iran's borders. The Quds Force has historically been involved in supporting allied groups and coordinating operations throughout the region. Facilities associated with such units are often viewed as strategic targets during periods of heightened conflict. By striking locations connected to missile production and launch capabilities, Israeli planners may have aimed to reduce Iran's ability to deploy certain types of long-range weapons. The location of the strike itself adds another layer of significance. Tehran is not just any city, it is the political, economic, and military center of Iran. Conducting operations targeting military infrastructure in the capital sends a message that the conflict has reached a new level of intensity. Explosions reported in or near major cities often carry psychological and strategic implications. They demonstrate that strategic targets located far from front lines can still be reached. For residents of Tehran, reports of strikes targeting military facilities in the capital represent a dramatic reminder that the confrontation is unfolding close to the country's core power structures. Military analysts observing the strike note that targeting command centers is a classic strategic approach during modern conflicts. Instead of focusing solely on individual weapon systems, attacking the coordination hubs that control those systems can disrupt entire networks. For example, radar stations may still exist, interceptor missiles may still be available, but without coordinated command and communication structures, those systems cannot function effectively together. This is why command centers are often considered high-value targets. They concentrate leadership, coordination, and communication infrastructure in a single location. Disabling them can create operational confusion across multiple defensive units simultaneously. The strike on the IRGC Air Force headquarters also highlights the broader strategic importance of air defense networks in modern warfare. Air defense systems are designed to protect critical infrastructure, military installations, and population centers from aerial threats. These networks typically include radar stations, interceptor missile batteries, command centers, and communication systems linking all these components together. In recent years, many countries have invested heavily in expanding and modernizing such systems. Iran is no exception. The country has developed various layers of air defense technology designed to detect and intercept different types of threats, including aircraft, drones, and missiles. The command centers coordinating these systems play a crucial role in ensuring they operate as a unified network rather than isolated components. If such a command center is damaged or disrupted, the entire defensive network can temporarily lose efficiency. Military analysts often describe this effect as blinding the radar network, because command centers process the data gathered by sensors and radar stations across the country. Without effective coordination, defensive units may struggle to determine where threats are coming from or which systems should respond. At the same time, the strike targeting ballistic missile-related infrastructure introduces another dimension to the operation. Ballistic missiles represent one of the most significant components of Iran's strategic deterrence capability. Facilities associated with missile production and storage are therefore considered extremely sensitive locations. Warehouses storing missile components or launch equipment are essential for maintaining operational readiness. If these facilities are damaged, it can slow production, disrupt logistics, or complicate deployment planning. The mention of equipment linked to the Quds Force adds further significance. The Quds Force operates as a specialized branch of the IRGC tasked with managing operations beyond Iran's borders. Because of this role, facilities connected to the Quds Force often become focal points during periods of regional tension. The strike on structures associated with missile production and Quds Force equipment suggests a broader strategic objective, targeting infrastructure connected to long-range military capabilities. Across the region, the developments have drawn intense attention from governments, analysts, and observers. Strikes targeting military command centers inside national capitals represent a serious escalation in any conflict. Such operations often generate strong reactions because they strike at the core of military coordination systems. For analysts, the strike highlights the ongoing transformation of modern warfare. Ballistic missiles represent one of the most significant components of Iran's strategic deterrence capability. Facilities associated with missile production and storage are therefore considered extremely sensitive locations. Warehouses storing missile components or launch equipment are essential for maintaining operational readiness. If these facilities are damaged, it can slow production, disrupt logistics, or complicate deployment planning. The mention of equipment linked to the Quds Force adds further significance. The Quds Force operates as a specialized branch of the IRGC tasked with managing operations beyond Iran's borders. Because of this role, facilities connected to the Quds Force often become focal points during periods of regional tension. The strike on structures associated with missile production and Quds Force equipment suggests a broader strategic objective, targeting infrastructure connected to long-range military capabilities. Across the region, the developments have drawn intense attention from governments, analysts, and observers. Strikes targeting military command centers inside national capitals represent a serious escalation in any conflict. Such operations often generate strong reactions because they strike at the core of military coordination systems. For analysts, the strike highlights the ongoing transformation of modern warfare. Military operations increasingly focus on disrupting networks rather than simply destroying individual assets. Command centers, communication hubs, radar installations, and logistical infrastructure form the backbone of military capability. Disrupting these elements can have ripple effects across entire defense systems. At the same time, these events also demonstrate how quickly military confrontations can evolve. What begins as a series of isolated strikes can rapidly expand into operations targeting critical infrastructure. As the situation continues unfolding, military analysts and observers around the world are closely monitoring developments.